You live in a democracy. You vote. You elect your leaders. You have a voice. Your vote matters. Your opinion shapes policy. Power comes from the people. This is what you've been taught since childhood. It's a lie. Your vote doesn't matter. Your opinion has zero impact on policy. Power doesn't come from the people. Princeton University studied 30 years of policy decisions. They measured public opinion against actual policy outcomes. The conclusion: public preference has a near zero impact on policy. Zero. Meanwhile, economic elites and corporate lobbying groups get exactly what they want. You live in an oligarchy with a voting ritual. Tonight, I'm going to prove it. And I'm going to show you why you're taught that democracy is sacred. Because the illusion of choice keeps you compliant. This is Inner Pigment. The birthplace of democracy. Ancient Athens, 5th century BC. The supposed birthplace of democracy, held up as the shining example of people power. Let's examine what Athenian democracy actually was. Who could vote? Only adult male citizens, not women, not slaves, not foreign residents. Athens had a population of approximately 250,000 people. How many could vote? 30,000, maybe 40,000. That's 12 to 16% of the population, 12%. And these were the wealthy landowners, the elite. Women, zero rights. Property of fathers or husbands, slaves, 30 to 40% of the population, zero rights. Foreign residents, no matter how long they lived there, zero rights. This is the birthplace of democracy, an oligarchy where a small elite controlled everything, while calling it rule by the people. Athenian democracy in practice. The assembly made decisions. 6,000 citizens needed for a quorum. But who could afford to attend? Assembly meetings happened during the day, middle of the week. If you were a farmer, a craftsman, a worker, you couldn't attend, you had to work. Only the wealthy had time to participate in democracy, so democracy was rule by the rich. With a fancy name, the failures. Athenian democracy lasted approximately 180 years. During that time, constant warfare. The Peloponnesian War destroyed Athens, executed Socrates for corrupting the youth and questioning authority, mob rule. Demagogues manipulated the crowd with rhetoric. Ostracism. Popular vote could exile anyone for 10 years. No trial needed. Instability, coups, oligarchic takeovers. Democracy suspended multiple times. This is the system we're told to worship. The lesson: ancient democracy was never ruled by the people. It was ruled by a wealthy elite, with public participation as theater. Sound familiar? Modern democracy. The Princeton study, the research, 2014, Princeton University, Professors Martin Gillens and Benjamin Page, they studied 30 years of American policy decisions, 1,779 policy issues from 1981 to 2002. The question: who actually determines policy? Is it the average voter? Economic elites? Mass-based interest groups? Business lobbies? The methodology. They measured public opinion polls. What did ordinary Americans want? Then they measured what policy was actually enacted. If democracy works, these should correlate. If the people want something, policy should reflect it, right? The results. Quote from the study: the preferences of the average American appear to have only a minuscule, near zero, statistically non-significant impact on public policy. Near zero impact. Your opinion, your vote, your voice. Statistically irrelevant. Who does have impact? Economic elites and organized business groups. When economic elites want a policy, it passes. When business lobbies want a policy, it passes. When the public wants a policy that elites oppose, it fails. Even when 80% of Americans support something, if elites oppose it, it doesn't happen. Examples from the study: majority of Americans wanted higher minimum wage, universal health care, campaign finance reform, banking regulation. What happened? Nothing, because elites opposed it. Meanwhile, elites wanted tax cuts for the wealthy, corporate deregulation, free trade agreements. What happened? Passed. Every time. The conclusion. The researchers' words: America's claims to being a democratic society are seriously threatened. Translation: you don't live in a democracy. You live in an oligarchy, ruled by the wealthy few, with elections as theater. The two-party system: you vote, Democrat or Republican, Labor or Conservative, Liberal or Conservative. You think you're choosing, you're not. The Overton window, the range of acceptable political discourse, named after Joseph Overton. Here's how it works. Certain ideas are acceptable to discuss. Certain ideas are radical and dismissed. Example in America. Acceptable: should we cut taxes by 5% or 10%? Radical: should we abolish income tax entirely? Should we nationalize health care fully? The Overton window is narrow. Both parties operate within it. They argue about details, not fundamentals. Result: no matter who you vote for, the system stays the same. The uniparty. Democrats and Republicans disagree on abortion, guns, immigration, culture war issues. These are distractions. What do they agree on? Corporate power, military spending, surveillance, bailouts for banks, protecting the wealthy, every major policy that benefits elites, bipartisan support. Bank bailouts, 2008, passed with both parties. Military budget increases, always bipartisan. Surveillance expansion, Patriot Act, both parties. Corporate subsidies, both parties. You're given a choice between two parties that serve the same masters: the economic elite. Campaign finance. Where does campaign money come from? Corporations, billionaires, lobbying groups. How much does it cost to run for U.S. Senate? Average $10 million. House of Representatives, $2 million. President? Over $1 billion. Where does a politician get that money? From you? No. From wealthy donors and corporations. And what do donors expect in return? Access, influence, policy favorable to their interests. This is legalized bribery. Politicians serve donors, not voters, because donors fund their campaigns. You vote. Donors choose who you get to vote for. India, the world's largest democracy. India, 1.4 billion people, called the world's largest democracy. Let's examine it. Caste system still operates. Lower castes systematically oppressed. Corruption rampant at every level of government. Mob violence, lynch mobs, communal riots. State often complicit. Press freedom declining. Journalists attacked, jailed. Poverty. 21% of population lives on less than $2 per day. Democracy for 75 years. Poverty remains. Corruption remains. Violence remains, because democracy doesn't solve systemic problems. It manages them while maintaining power structures. The United Kingdom, birthplace of parliamentary democracy. Brexit referendum, 2016. 52% voted to leave the European Union. Politicians spent 3 years trying to undo it. People voted wrong. We need another referendum. When the people vote against elite interests, democracy suddenly becomes problematic. France, Gilets jaunes, yellow vest protests, 2018 to 2019. Massive popular movement, millions protesting, demands lower taxes on working class, higher taxes on wealthy, better wages. Government response? Riot police, tear gas, rubber bullets, arrests. Did policy change? Minimally. Macron, representing elite interests, continued. Democracy at work. The people protest. The elites ignore them. United States, 2016 presidential election. Hillary Clinton won the popular vote by 3 million votes. Donald Trump became president. Why? Electoral college, a system designed to override popular vote. Democracy or oligarchy with extra steps. The pattern. Every democracy follows the same pattern. People vote, elites govern. When people's interests conflict with elite interests win every time. Dictatorships that outperform democracies. Singapore, not a democracy. Authoritarian state. One-party rule since independence. Freedom House, rating, partly free. Press restricted, dissent punished. Government controls everything. But let's look at outcomes. GDP per capita, $65,000, sixth highest in the world. Literacy rate, 97%. Life expectancy, 83 years. Crime rate, one of the lowest globally. Corruption, practically non-existent. Cleanest government in Asia. Infrastructure, world-class, efficient, modern. Healthcare, universal, high quality. Education, top-ranked globally. Singapore proves you don't need democracy for prosperity, safety, education, or healthcare. You need competent governance. China, not a democracy. Communist Party rule, no free elections, no free press, authoritarian control, but economically lifted 800 million people out of poverty in 40 years. GDP growth averaged 9% annually for 3 decades. Infrastructure, high-speed rail, modern cities, advanced technology. Compared to democratic India, similar population size, both started developing around the same time. China, extreme poverty almost eliminated. India, hundreds of millions still in poverty. Democracy didn't help India catch up. Autocracy helped China surge ahead. I'm not endorsing autocracy, I'm showing you democracy doesn't guarantee good outcomes. Rwanda, dictatorship under Paul Kagame, not democratic. Authoritarian, but outcomes. Fastest growing economy in Central Africa. Cleanest city in Africa, Kigali. Universal health care coverage. Gender equality. 61% of parliament is female. Highest in the world. Corruption nearly eliminated. Compared to democratic neighbors. Democratic Republic of Congo. Kenya. Both democracies. Both corrupt. Both poor. Both unstable. Rwanda, under dictatorship, outperforms them. Again, I'm not saying dictatorship is better. I'm saying democracy doesn't automatically mean better governance. Why you're taught democracy is sacred. The control mechanism. Why do elites promote democracy? Why is it taught as sacred and unquestionable? Because democracy is the perfect control system. The illusion of choice. In a dictatorship, you know you have no power, you might rebel. In a democracy, you think you have power, so you don't rebel. You vote. You think you made a difference. Meanwhile, elites govern as they please. The vote is pressure release. It makes you feel heard, without actually giving you power. Legitimacy. Dictators rule by force. This is unstable. People resist. Coups happen. Democracies rule by consent. You voted for this. This is the will of the people, even when it's not. Even when elites manipulated the choice, the vote gives legitimacy, makes oppression acceptable. You chose this leader. You can't complain. Divide and conquer. Democracy creates the illusion of opposition. Left versus right. Liberal versus conservative. People fight each other, while elites remain in power regardless of who wins. Culture war distracts from class war. You're arguing about bathrooms and pronouns, while elites rob you blind. Democracy keeps you distracted, fighting your neighbor instead of your oppressor. The export of democracy. America exports democracy. Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, Syria. Why? Not because they care about freedom, because spreading democracy justifies military intervention, which benefits defense contractors, oil companies, geopolitical control. Democracy is the excuse for empire, the sacred cow. You're taught democracy is sacred, unquestionable, the highest good. Anyone who questions it is dangerous, authoritarian, anti-freedom. Why? Because if you question democracy, you question the entire system. You realize the system doesn't serve you. It serves elites. And your vote is theater to keep you compliant. They can't let you realize that. So democracy must be sacred. Democracy doesn't guarantee good governance. You can have democracy plus poverty. India, most of Africa, Latin America. Democracy plus corruption. Italy, Greece, many others. Democracy plus violence. Mexico, Brazil, Philippines under democratic periods. Democracy plus oligarchy. United States, most of the West, or autocracy plus prosperity. Singapore, UAE, Qatar autocracy plus competence. China's economic rise. Rwanda's transformation, autocracy plus stability. Many Gulf states. Democracy is not the variable that determines outcomes. What determines good governance? Not the system, but competence. Are leaders skilled and educated? Accountability. Can incompetent leaders be removed? Rule of law. Are there actual consequences for corruption? Institutional strength. Do institutions function independently? Long-term thinking? Can leaders plan beyond next election? Meritocracy. Do the best rise to power or the best funded? Singapore has these. China has some of these. Many democracies don't. The uncomfortable truth. You've been lied to. Democracy is not the pinnacle of governance. It's one system among many. And in practice, modern democracy is oligarchy with voting theater. The question isn't democracy or dictatorship. The question is, does the system serve the people or the elite? And in most modern democracies, it serves the elite while pretending to serve you. You live in a democracy. You vote. You think your voice matters. It doesn't. Princeton University proved it. 30 years of data. Public opinion has near zero impact on policy. Economic elites get what they want. You don't. Ancient Athens? 12% of the population could vote. The wealthy elite? Modern America? Campaign finance means only the elite choose who you vote for. India, the largest democracy? Poverty, corruption, violence. Meanwhile, Singapore, authoritarian, prosperous, clean, educated, safe. China, autocratic, lifted 800 million out of poverty. Rwanda, dictatorship, outperforms democratic neighbors on every metric. I'm not saying dictatorship is better. I'm saying democracy doesn't automatically mean better governance. And modern democracy is a lie. You're given the illusion of choice to keep you compliant. The illusion of power to prevent rebellion. The illusion of representation while elites govern. You're taught democracy is sacred, so you don't question it. Because if you questioned it, you'd realize the system doesn't serve you. Your vote is theater. Real power belongs to the wealthy, and democracy is the perfect system to hide that fact. This has been Inner Pigment. Stay curious. Stay questioning. And maybe question whether the system you're told is sacred actually serves you, or serves someone else.